Hey friends! So this week in Minnesota where I live is our statewide giving day for nonprofits. It's called Give to the Max. It's sponsored by a nonprofit called Give to the Max. This has become a thing in the last 5 or 6 years where states are having a sort of like a statewide giving day. And I think there's even a national giving day that might be associated with Martin Luther King Day or something. And so it kind of has got me thinking, like, are statewide giving days a good thing? You know? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I have a few thoughts about it that I wanted to share with you, and I'd love to hear your comments as well. So here's my sort of 5 thoughts about statewide giving days. First of all, it's not a guarantee, right? Just because you are going to put your information on a Give to the Max page on their website does not mean that random donors that don't already have a relationship with you are going to find your Give Day page and donate to you. You still have to have a campaign where you reach out to your tribe, to your target market, to your donors, and lead them there, right? Sell them on the matching component, whatever it is that you're trying to win best in category. Whatever that campaign is, you need to have a strategy and a campaign. Don't expect that random donors will just find you. I worry about that for teeny tiny organizations that are just starting out and might see this as sort of like a panacea of their fundraising. Like, oh, hey, look at this. We can just use this as our amazing fundraising tool. Which leads me to my second thought, which is, you really have to be aware of what the fees are. So in our state here in Minnesota recently, and I think last year might have been the first year that they allowed this, but very recently the Give to the Max group made a way for donors to pay the fee, because it's a pretty big fee and that's cutting into the gifts that you're receiving, right? So every sort of platform for giving, whether it's GoFundMe or Kickstarter or Edco or any of the other ones out there, they have some sort of a fee because there's transaction costs. But you want to look and see if the donor can opt in on paying the fee for you, so that if they make a $25 donation, you actually get the $25 and they pay the $2 processing fee for you. That is a new feature on Give to the Max in Minnesota, and I'm like, good job, that's awesome. But you need to take that into consideration when you're joining one of these platforms for your year, because what's the ROI on these gifts if it's not really going to be worth it to spend that much time and effort to get what might be a very small amount of money that has a bunch of fees taken out of it. There's no fee on a check from your donor. So even if they're very aware that it's the give day, you might solicit contributions some other way, right? My third thought is these are totally arbitrary dates. Not that that's bad. They have done you the immense favor of creating all this public awareness around these statewide giving days, and that is incredible. I think ours is this coming week in November, and then Illinois is the week after Thanksgiving. Theirs is like GiveIL. And I don't know when everybody else's are, but right now is a popular time to do annual campaigns and such, so it kind of makes sense, but also it's arbitrary to your organization. It's not tied to any specific thing in your organization's story or your organization's timeline, so you just kind of have to keep that in mind, that if you hit your start to this wagon, this is going to have an impact on when you decide to do other fundraising activities for your group. And that leads me to my fourth point, which is please do not rely on this as your only mechanism for fundraising. Some organizations have highly effective giving day campaigns, and that is amazing. But for especially scrappy small startups, this may not be the panacea that you're hoping that it is. So make sure it's one arrow in the quiver, right? And keep track of like how you're going to continue fundraising throughout the year, and don't just put all your eggs in this one basket. Because my fifth point on these giving days is that you can outgrow it. So I am friendly with folks from Save the Boundary Waters, and Sportsmen for the Boundary Waters, which is an organization that is working on preserving the pristine nature of Minnesota's natural resources up north, which are known as the Boundary Waters. They've been very successful with the Minnesota Give to the Max Day, and they've like won their best in category. So if you're not familiar, these organizations tend to have sort of like a friendly competition thing. There's usually like some kind of matching component, and then there's like, if you do the best in your category, you can win a cash prize, and you know, blah blah blah. So they've done really well in previous years, but now as their organization has grown, they are no longer in one of the lower categories. And so in order for them to like win the friendly competition in the category that they're at, it's just really not realistic, because they're really in there with some big dogs now. And great for them, that is awesome. But at the same time, that could lead an organization to rely less on it, or to frame their campaign differently. So just always keep in mind that this is it's a fundraising tool for you that is going to change as you grow. And I think as long as you keep all those things in mind, it's a really great opportunity to take advantage of this sort of marketing genius that these groups have come together. You know, do you think statewide giving days are good, bad, indifferent? What's been your experience for your organization? I'm super interested in seeing what you think. So if you've got thoughts, post them in the comments, and we'll go from there.